Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible for healing, one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission is one of the authors of a new Amazon best-selling book that we have out already yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't know. I'm losing track.
Yesterday.
Yes. Welcome, Carolyn. How are you doing today?
Oh, amazing.
Okay, you guys, the book is called Holistic Mental Health, Calm, Clear, and in Control for the Rest of Your Life. This is our volume 2 in the series. And a huge thank you goes to Laura Mazzata, who is our lead author for this amazing collaboration. Laura's mission and vision with this book was huge, you guys. And this very, very powerful and important topic right now. Really, I'm so grateful to Laura for bringing us together on this topic. And, we wouldn't be here without you. So huge thanks. And Dr. Carolyn Trasko is part of this stellar author cast. She is a unique practitioner and coach in integrative mental health with almost 35 years of clinical experience in behavioral health, addictions, and trauma, dedicated to the practical integration of allopathic, Ayurvedic, traditional Chinese medicine, and energy medicine models to foster transformational healing. Yeah, that we're going to talk about all of this good stuff today. Carolyn, just tell us a little bit about the chapter that you wrote.
Wonderful. Well, I also want to say thank you to you and to Laura, because I am completely honored and feel so blessed to be a part of this project. The chapter that I wrote is chapter 7. The title is The Paradox of Important People, Aligning Your Inner Self to Overcome Imposter Syndrome. And to be able to share my experience, to have that ability as a role model, to be vulnerable, to show aspects of my own life and my own healing, I think is a really important step for all of us, especially for any of us who have struggled at all with imposter syndrome. And so I just am just so grateful that this is another piece of the mission to help people out there understand mental health, to reduce stigma associated with mental health, and like we're saying, just to be as courageous as we are able to be.
Okay, so somebody said to me one day, this was recent, they said, you guys, imposters don't suffer from imposter syndrome, like actual imposters. So if you're one of the ones that has imposter syndrome, you're safe, you're good. Like you have awareness that, right? So would you agree? Like,
Completely.
yeah.
And I love that. I love how they were able to word it in that way. That what I found, certainly even for myself and going through it and healing myself and being a continued work in progress, but any of the people that I've been blessed to help, it really is about saying to them, hey, the fact that you think about this, that you're not feeling comfortable in your own skin, you're feeling like a fraud, and you're having the courage to say to someone else, I'm feeling like a fraud and I need help with that, is already a huge step. It's helping you to realize, oh, and that's what I usually say to them. I'm like, honestly, then my work I feel is easy, because I'm just basically trying to help you see yourself in the way that I'm able to see a person, just the true essence of ourselves. We are not imposters at all. We are divinely perfect in that way. But we have things, things that have happened to us that we need to heal and unpack and release, that no longer serve us, that are getting in our way of really being our authentic self, like what I call with that capital S on self.
So where does perfectionism come into this for you?
So for me, that is one of my major contributing factors to my imposter syndrome. And it connects directly to my own history of attachment trauma. So a lot of people out there that have experienced attachment trauma that begins in early childhood and your family of origin, what happens is we have this deep fear of rejection and abandonment, and it can show up in a multitude of ways. For me, the perfectionistic self was, okay, I'm not good enough. I have to be better, whatever that was needing to be better at. For instance, for me, it came through a lot in my academics and school performance. And then in that weird paradoxical way, our culture really is supporting you to be better, to be perfect. So if I had a good grade, it wasn't good enough. Like I was always moving the bar. And in my family of origin, that bar was constantly being moved. Like, okay, well, you achieved that, but you maybe could have done better. And I think that that became this like voice, this self-doubt that really served as an obstacle for me initially to recognize, wait a minute, it's not about that level of outcome. It's really about having what we know more as that growth mindset. Like, wait, these are opportunities. It's not sort of like the end product of something, if you will, all the time. And I know it's very easy for me, even sometimes, to fall back into that a little bit. And then I have to bring myself back and go, wait, connect to the heart. What feels important energetically, emotionally? What matters?
On my journey, part of my mastery has meant that I have the awareness more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I can notice it, pause, take the deep breath, choose a better thought, and I can do it much, much faster.
Right.
Has that been part of your mastery as well? Like, this gets easier, you guys.
And that's exactly, and I appreciate you pointing it out that way. My whole mission is to keep sharing with people that no matter what you've been through in your life, so I say no matter the amount of trauma, as well as no matter how like old those traumas are, in my work and in my life experience, that does not matter. It is our level of resilience to give ourselves permission with that self-loving kindness to slow down, to practice the power of the pause, and then to allow ourselves the space to do a reset while we're also connecting, right, with other people, creating community for people that are willing to see us, feel us and hear us without judgment. Right. And that's really what I say to people. I want to serve and continue to serve as that role model, as that steward, to say, oh no, I'm right there with you. Right. I think that's so important for us to have the courage and the bravery to acknowledge that, because it's allowed other people to come forward and to say, wait, this was so hard initially, but yes, it is getting easier to be able to go, oh yeah, I can love myself in all my imperfections. And some days, like I say to people, oh yeah, I feel like I'm nailing it. Other days it's like maybe mediocre, but you learn to go with that flow. And acceptance is really a big piece of it for sure.
All right, you mentioned community, so I'm going to go there because it's probably one of my favorite topics ever. But community has been the difference between success and failure in terms of mental health for me, for so many reasons. What has community meant for you personally?
So for me personally, it's about really relationships. Like what we have all used this phrase and heard it, like finding my tribe. And I've said to people, for me, finding my tribe, it has been a process. I think it's probably true for a lot of people that it is. And being able to stay connected to that process, because sometimes our tribe is not entirely like our given family or maybe the environment that we are raised around and within. And it's harder, I get it, to have courage to be seen, felt, and heard, to branch out of what your comfort zone. But being able to do that opens up possibility. So for me, it's always about that. It's finding people, places, and things really that I feel an alignment with and that I'm getting feedback as well, right? Because it's that whole symbiotic relationship of community, like feeling like I am able to share something. And also it's like that, I like kind of consider it like a dance, like the dance of give and take. Like we are higher order mammals wired to bond. I mean, that's ultimately who we are as humans. So I am always growing community and trying to be open, especially even if it means interacting sometimes with people whose life experiences have been entirely different than my own. Like that really is what enriches my own lived experience.
And community can be one other person. It doesn't have, we can define this a little differently, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Exactly. Because the definition, I think, of a group is just even two people, right? So it's being able to grow your community at whatever pace and size is your true comfort zone. That is really the blessing that is within it. So I say to people, this really isn't about you stretching yourself immediately so like far and stretching in a hard way that it can create more trauma. That's not the goal, right? I always say, turtles, slow and steady does win the race. And so being able to honor that, being able to say, okay, how can I give myself permission to slow down, to do the things and be me with an authentic self at the pace that's comfortable for me, even if perhaps others in our external environment may have different opinions or feelings. But I do sense that this is not only me honoring myself, but it's a way for us to honor one another to say, hey, I accept you where you're at, and honor that and acknowledge it and know that we can instead really align in a community around our differences and our sameness. Like, how do we keep creating unity one step at a time?
Yeah, super, super awesome to hear you talk about that. And I love feeling that I get control over that pace. That's really, really good. All
Right.
right, Carolyn, what do you think is the most important thing you want people to know about mental health in general?
Oh, hmm. Well, honestly, hopefully I can get it in one sentence, right? And one long sentence perhaps. But what I really, really, truly, deeply need people to know is that you are not alone. And I mean, I say to people, really let that sink in. You are not alone, because in my work, when people do find me, oftentimes that is what they will consistently say, that they have felt so alone in their experience. And that has further contributed to their symptoms of depression or anxiety, their stress, etc. So no matter what, I think it's important for people to understand we need to talk more and more about mental health. Mental health affects every single person. It affects animals as well. So not only people, right? Every being has some experience with mental health, whether we call it that or not, and that you are not alone, and that it is about all of us who are here that are saying, hey, there is absolutely no one right path. There is no one right tool. There are many, and to be open to what might be the proper tools, resources for you, and to always reach out, especially if you're feeling that level of despair, being like what I have experienced with people, that they feel they're all the way out on the branch, the limb, and they are alone. That all I'm saying is to recognize you are not, to just come back towards the trunk, even a few more inches, and help us find you, because folks like myself, we are looking for you. We want you to deeply know you are not alone. There is no need to feel shame around whatever you're experiencing with your emotional health at all.
What a beautiful way to say that. Come back a couple of inches. Let us help us find you.
Hmm.
Help us find
Yes.
you, you guys. I love that. Dr. Carolyn Trasko, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone.
Thank you. I appreciate being here. It's a blessing, really. So thank you so much.
So, you all heard it with what Carolyn was talking about today and these really important topics that we hit on in these last few minutes. They're huge. This is way more than a book, you guys. This is a generous community. So if you did hear something today that's resonating, or you need some support or help, come on down to the show notes, because I have Carolyn hooked up with her website and links there. You can reach out. You can come a couple of inches towards that trunk, right?
Yes.
We are here for you, and you definitely aren't alone. And I am constantly honored and impressed by our experts stepping up to share their stories and share their tools with you. So please come and explore. And you're also invited to join us for the book launch party, which happens to be tomorrow night, April 18th. So I've got information down below this interview video about that. And you can grab your copy of the book because it is out and ready for you. The link below will take you to Amazon to do that. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. Thanks. See you next time, everyone.
Thanks so much.